Hello queens, I'm back at y'all with another client tutorial, and today I'm showing y'all how I created this pink cut crease. We're jumping straight into the video, and I'm starting it by cleaning my client's face. Now that her face is all clean, we're just gonna dive right into the makeup. So as y'all can see, I'm starting on her brows, and to outline them I'm using my Nicka K brow pencil, and it's either in the shade black or black brown. When working with my clients, y'all already know I like to outline both of the brows first just to get them as symmetrical as possible. And then once I have the shape to my liking, I just go in and fill in all the sparse areas. So as y'all can see, I'm just going to finish lining up this brow and then we'll start filling them in. I feel like one of the key ways to get a sharp and precise brow that a lot of people don't talk about is having a sharp pencil. I do like to make sure that I sharpen my pencils before each client, and that's why I rather use an actual eyebrow pencil instead of the automatic type of pencils, because I need that tip to be as sharp as possible. As y'all can see, I've went in and started filling in the brows. Once I have it filled to my liking, I'm just going to blend it out so that it's not too harsh. Now that I've made my way to the front, I'm just going to loosen up my grip and do nice little upward hair-like strokes. You want to go lighter at the front just so you can have that ombre effect and it can be easier to blend into the back. And once you're satisfied with it, go ahead and blend everything out with the spoolie end of the pencil. And now we have this brow nice and filled in. I'm just going to go ahead and finish filling in the other brow. This next step is not mandatory, but if you watch my videos, then you already know that I love to do this on my clients to ensure that their brows last all day. I'm going in with some clear eyelash glue, and I'm just using it to mold the brow hairs down in place. You can use eyebrow gel if you would like, but I feel like the glue is so much better, y'all, and it comes off with soap and water, so you don't have to freak out. To clean up her brows, I'm going in with these 3 different shades of Nicka K concealer, and I'll have them all on the screen. And I mix shades 03 and 07 together, and I use them to clean up underneath her arch. I didn't want it to be too bright, which is why I decided to go in with this. If you have the shade number 4 or number 5, you can just go in with that, but I didn't have either one of those, which is why I decided to mix these 2. To clean up the remainder of the way on the top and the bottom of her eyebrows, I'm just going in with the shade number 10. Now that both of the brows are clean, I'm going in with a little bit more of my Nicka K concealer, and I believe it's in the shade 03. I'm using this as her eyeshadow base, so I'm just going to be applying this all over her lids. I'm taking my RCMA no color powder. You can use translucent powder if you have that, but I'm going to be applying this throughout the front of her brows to lighten them up, and I'm using it to set the concealer around her brows in place, and I'm also going to be applying a little bit of this on top of her eyeshadow base. To start this eyeshadow look off, I'm going in with my Black Radiance pressed powder in the shade Black Coffee, and I'm using this as the transition. So I'm going to work it on the outer edge of her eye, and then I'm going to bring it up towards the inner corner of her eye. Since we are doing a cut crease, you want to make sure that you see each one of those eyeshadow shades, so always bring them forward. I'm going in with the darkest brown shade from my Sheglam Smart cookie palette, and I'm applying this to her crease, and I'm also going to be working it inward. Before I start cutting her crease, I'm going in with this matte white shade, and I'm using it to highlight the inner corners of her eyes. To cut her crease, I'm going in with this pink P.Louise base, and I mixed this with a little bit of my e.l.f. camo concealer just to lighten up the shade and get it to the color that I wanted it to be. And now, as y'all can see, I'm just going in and I'm stamping out where I would like her cut crease to be. Y'all know this is the most tedious step of the whole makeup look, so I like to take my time when it comes to cutting the crease, and I love a round shape, so that's always what I go for whenever I'm cutting the crease. I always like to do an initial cut with the base, and then I go in and blend it out when I see that I'm getting it to my liking. And after I blend it out, I go in with a little bit more of the base and I just sharpen up my shape. Gonna blend out the edges of my cut creases using this burgundy toned eyeshadow. It was supposed to be a burgundy, y'all. I know it looks kind of purplish on camera, but in the pan, I promise y'all, it looked like a burgundy maroon shade. But I'm applying this to the end of her cut crease, and I'm just gonna blend it into that dark brown shade. I'm taking this pink pigment and I'm just tapping this on top of the eyeshadow base. I didn't go in with any adhesives because since the pigment is so like fine, it'll just stick to the base. You can do this with pigments. I don't recommend that you do this with glitters, okay? Please do not do that. And I don't know the shade name of this product, and I believe the brand is discontinued. But I want to say P.Louise has a pigment that's very similar to this. I'm gonna see if they still have it on their website, and if so, I'll just have it listed in the description box for y'all. I'm going back in with that burgundy eyeshadow, and I'm using it to blend out the edge of her cut crease. I'm going in with some black liquid liner, and I'm just going to give her a wing liner. If you would like to do just, you know, the standard line, you can. I feel like that'll be cute with this look as well, but I decided to do a wing. Last but not least, I'm going in with a small amount of black and dark brown eyeshadow, and I'm just applying them into her crease. And now we're moving on to the face. I went ahead and cleaned her face off camera, so now I'm just going in with a generous amount of my Pond's moisturizer, and I'm just going to use this to hydrate her skin before we get into the foundation. To prime her face, I'm going in with my Smashbox Photo Finish Primer, and this is a product that really smooths out the skin, so you want to apply it anywhere where you see any type of texture. My client has very beautiful skin, as y'all can see, so I'm really just using this for video purposes. I did not have to go in with this on her face at all, but I decided to use it anyway. Y'all know I love me some Smashbox. On top of the primer, I'm going in with a thin layer of Calamine lotion, and I'm just going to focus this in the areas that would typically get oily and sweaty the quickest, so really the T-zone. And as I told y'all, this step right here is mandatory for me and my clients right now because it's summertime and we in Texas. I'm not about to play when it comes to your makeup, okay? We're going to prime that face up. I'm going in with my Nicka K concealer in the shade number 10, and I'm using this to balance out her skin before we get into the foundation. For her foundation, I'm going in with my Maybelline Fit Me foundations, and they're in the shades Spicy Brown and Latte. I know it looks a little light on camera, but y'all saw the video in the beginning, okay? Everything ended up coming together, so just trust the process. I'm going to contour her cheekbones and her jawline using my Nicka K cream foundation, and it's in the shade Katsina. To highlight her face, I'm going in with some more of my Nicka K concealer. And I think I did the same technique that I did for her brows, y'all, when I mixed the shade 03 and the shade 07 together. I'm going in with the same brush that I used to blend out her foundation, and I'm using it to blend out her concealer just so everything could have a nice seamless blend. I'm gonna go ahead and sculpt out her nose using some more of that Juvia'splace cream foundation. And once I have her nose all contoured, we're just gonna finish blending up the concealer underneath her eyes. To set the concealer in place, I'm going in with my Morphe loose powder in the shade Banana Rich. And I went in with a very thin layer of this powder, y'all, because I was running out. I'm not even gonna lie. I was beating that container trying to get the powder out, y'all, but I was running low. But luckily I had enough to finish her face. Now that the concealer has been set, I'm going in with my Black Radiance Pressed Powder in the shade Black Coffee, and I'm using this to bronze up around her face. I'm going in and setting the remaining areas of her face using my Fit Me Pressed Powder, and I believe it's in the shade Toffee or Truffle. It's one of those T words, y'all, but I'm using this to set the remaining areas. I'm adding some blush to the apples of her cheeks, and I'm just using my Juvia'splace blush. We're working on her under eyes now, so I'm just going in with some black gel liner, and I'm using it to line her waterline. I like to use a lip applicator to apply it because it's just quicker for me, y'all. If you haven't tried it, I recommend that you do. I'm going to be going in with the dark brown and the burgundy eyeshadow, and I'm using them to smoke out her lower lash line. I'm going in with this light pink eyeshadow shade, and I'm applying it to the inner corner of her under eye. Now that the under eyes are complete, I'm just going to go ahead and dust away all of the powder. And I also like to go in with my foundation brush, and I press it on top of the concealer just to make sure that all of the powder and everything is pressed in, okay? We don't want to have any flashback moments when it's time to take those videos. I'm going to set her face in place using my Morphe Continuous Setting Mist. I love this setting spray, y'all. And now we're just going in with lashes. I went ahead and cut them to fit her eyes off camera, so I'm just gluing them onto her lash line. And I get all of my lashes from Shein, y'all. If you have never bought eyelashes from Shein, I recommend that you do. They have them in bulk for a very affordable price. While the lashes are drying, I'm just going to go ahead and highlight her face. Moving on to the lips, I'm going in with some cream foundation, and I'm using this to outline her lips. I feel like the application is much smoother and more precise when you do it this way rather than using a lip liner pencil. I'm going in with my Absolute New York liquid lipstick, and I'm just going to work this in the center of her lips using this disposable lip wand. And I'm going to go on top of it with this light pink lip gloss just to lighten them up. And I'm going to have her press her lips together to help me blend everything out. I'm going to finish blending out her lips using my lip wand, and once I have it all blended out, that'll be the finished look, and we'll be stepping into the grand reveal, so I'm going to let y'all watch. Okay, you ready to see?
Yes, ma'am.
Ooh. That girl stunting on people for Father's Day.
And is? I like that one a lot. I'm gonna have to sleep on my head like this.
Okay, queens, we've made it to the end of the video, and as you can see by my client's reaction, this tutorial was another success, y'all. I think this look came out so beautiful, and I just have to brag on her real quick, y'all, because this is one of my favorite clients. I know I've said that a few times, but I just have a lot of favorites, y'all, and she is one of them. We've done so many looks together, and this is not our first time recording a look, but I kid you not, every time we record one, something goes wrong, whether it's the lighting or the angles. But luckily, we got to record this masterpiece, and I think it came out bomb. If y'all enjoyed this tutorial, please do not forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe. And make sure that y'all stay tuned for my next one. Bye-bye, queens.